Let's go ahead and move into our IDE, and I'll start here with step 1 of adding a new method to the DAO interface. I'll have this method delete and we'll pass in an integer ID. In step 2, we'll add a new method to the DAO implementation. Let me expand my window here for a second. And now let's go ahead and implement this method for delete. I'll move down here to this method stub, and we're going to add the transactional annotation since we're performing a delete on the database. So we're modifying the database, run that inside of a transaction. I'll write some quick comments to myself to kind of keep myself on track. I'll retrieve the student and then delete the student. Here I'll assign the student equals entitymanager.find. I give the student.class and then the ID. And then to delete the student, we simply make use of this entitymanager.remove. We pass in the student object. And that's the basic coding here for deleting a student. And finally, here in step 3, we'll update the main application. Let's move down here to the command line runner section. And I'll comment out the previous code that we had for update student. And I'll make a call to this new method here, delete student. I'll generate the method stub here. In this example, I want to delete student ID of 3. I'll make a quick sysout print line. And then I'll call this student DAO.delete, and I pass in that student ID. And that's the basic coding here for deleting the student. Now, before we run this application, let's verify that we have data in the database, and in particular, the student ID of 3. I'll swing over to MySQL Workbench. I'll just run a query here on the student table. And we do have the student ID of 3, Bonita Applebaum. Now let's go ahead and run our application. And it says, hey, deleting student ID of 3. Let's verify this in the database. Just run that query one more time. And success. Notice here, student ID of 3 has been deleted, no longer there. So this kind of works out as desired. Good job.